Jack Wilshere. Jack Wilshere became Arsenal's youngest ever player at 16, a technically gifted midfielder with a bulldog mentality, able to run a game from the centre of the park with both skill and ferocity. He was hailed as the future of English football, the player to lead both Arsenal and the national team to glory. His performance against Barcelona's star-studded midfield in the Champions League, where he went toe-to-toe with Xavi and Andres Iniesta, is a moment etched in the minds of football fans as proof of his immense talent and potential. But Wilshere's biggest enemy was his own body. Ankle and knee injuries plagued him from his early 20s onwards, a constant cycle of recovery and relapse. He would miss months, even years at a time. The physical demands of a box-to-box midfielder in the Premier League, combined with his fearless tackling style, took a devastating toll. He left Arsenal, the only club he had ever known, to seek a fresh start at West Ham and later Bournemouth. But he was a shadow of his former self. His moments of brilliance were fleeting, his playing time limited, and the spark that once defined him seemed to have been extinguished by years of rehabilitation and frustration. Between 2011 and 2018, it's estimated that Wilshere missed more than 1,000 days due to injury, a staggering figure that highlights his constant battle. He was a player of immense technical ability who was never able to get on the pitch consistently enough to fulfill his potential. His career is a heartbreaking reminder that immense talent is meaningless if the body isn't there to back it up. Hachim Mastour. Hachim Mastour, in the age of social media, was the ultimate highlight reel hero, a player who found global fame not on the pitch, but on a screen. His viral freestyle videos for AC Milan's youth academy made him an international sensation before he was old enough to drive. Clips of him performing audacious tricks and juggling the ball with incredible flair mesmerised millions, and the Italian club wisely capitalised on the buzz, signing him at the tender age of 14. The world watched his every move with bated breath, believing this was the future of the game. He was a playmaker with silky skills and an abundance of creativity, often compared to the likes of Ronaldinho for his imaginative play. The stage was set for a meteoric rise. However, his senior career never took off. The transition from youth football to the professional game proved to be an insurmountable hurdle. He was loaned out to clubs like Malaga in Spain and then PEC Zwolle in the Netherlands, where he barely saw the pitch. For Malaga, he made just one appearance for a total of 5 minutes. In the Netherlands, he managed only 6 appearances with no goals or assists. The raw talent was undeniably there, but the structure, discipline, and physicality of professional football were not. He couldn't adapt to the pace, and his slight frame was no match for seasoned defenders. Mastour became a digital star who couldn't cut it on the real pitch. He now plies his trade in Morocco and later Italy, a stark and painful contrast to the Ballon d'Or future once predicted for him. His journey is a powerful lesson in the difference between being a viral phenomenon and a true professional athlete. Mario Balotelli was a player with the talent to be one of the best strikers of his generation, an unstoppable force at Inter Milan and Manchester City, capable of moments of sheer genius and match-winning performances. He had an explosive shot, a powerful frame, and the kind of unpredictability that could unlock any defence. A superstar in the making, his potential was sky high. However, his career became a wild ride of controversy and inconsistency. From training ground antics to off-field incidents, including setting off fireworks in his bathroom, his discipline was a constant issue. Managers struggled to get the best out of him, and his focus would often waver. He was a player who could score a brilliant goal one moment and get a red card for an unnecessary foul the next. He bounced from top clubs like Manchester City and Liverpool to smaller teams in France and Italy, with each move seemingly a last-ditch attempt to harness his immense talent. While he still had moments of brilliance, like his memorable performance for Italy against Germany in the Euro 2012 semi-final, he never put it all together. His time at top clubs was a mixed bag. He managed just 21 goals in 70 Premier League appearances, and his goal-scoring record was often overshadowed by a high number of yellow and red cards. His career became defined not by the trophies he could have won or the goals he could have scored, but by the constant chaos that surrounded him. Balotelli's journey proves that without discipline and focus, a generational talent can be nothing more than a series of brilliant and often chaotic moments. Bojan Krkić, as a teenager at Barcelona's La Masia Academy, was a goal-scoring phenomenon. He reportedly outscored Lionel Messi in the youth ranks, a remarkable feat that led to a senior debut at just 17. The pressure was immense, with the media and fans alike immediately comparing him to the Argentine superstar, a tag that would follow him for the rest of his career. While he showed flashes of brilliance at Barcelona, he scored a respectable 26 goals in 117 league appearances for the club, but he struggled with the constant pressure to perform. The comparison to Messi wasn't a compliment. It was a weight that he could never truly escape, creating a mental burden that was as difficult to overcome as any physical obstacle. He was a solid player, technically gifted and intelligent, but never the world beater he was supposed to be. He moved on to Roma, then AC Milan, Ajax, and Stoke City, among others. He had respectable seasons and became a fan favourite at some of his clubs, but he never cemented his place at a top-tier team. His journey shows how the mental burden of expectation can be just as difficult to overcome as any physical injury. He was a victim of his own early success and the media-driven narrative that he was the next Messi. Bojan's journey, marked by stints in various leagues and a struggle with anxiety, serves as a poignant reminder that immense talent is just one part of the equation for success. Alexandre Pato. Alexandre Pato arrived at AC Milan as a Brazilian prodigy, a striker with blistering pace and a knack for scoring. He was an instant hit, bagging goals and forming part of a star-studded attack with the likes of Ronaldinho and Kaká. In his first 2 full seasons, he was Milan's top scorer, netting a total of 33 goals in 78 league games. The football world watched in awe as this explosive teenager tore through defences with his direct running and clinical finishing. He was a force to be reckoned with, a player who seemed destined to lead the next generation of global superstars. The promise was immense, but his career was a cruel case of what could have been. A series of debilitating muscle injuries, including hamstring and thigh problems, plagued him season after season. Every time he found his rhythm, his body betrayed him. The explosive runs and clinical finishing became rarer as his fitness issues mounted. The physical strain of the European game proved to be too much for his body, and a player once defined by his speed was forced to play a different, more cautious game. He left Milan for a return to Brazil, seeking a less demanding environment to rediscover his form. While he's had moments of success since, and even a brief return to Europe, he never reached the global superstar status that his early career promised. He has since become a journeyman, a respected player, but a far cry from the next great Brazilian striker. Pato's legacy is a heartbreaking reminder of how quickly a promising career can be derailed by the fragility of a player's body. Freddy Adu. Freddy Adu, a name that became synonymous with the immense pressure placed on young talent, was just 14 years old when he was labelled the next Pelé. This monumental comparison set him up for a fall before he ever kicked a ball professionally. The hype was a tidal wave, a multi-million-dollar contract with DC United, a massive marketing deal with Nike, and a spot on magazine covers made him the face of American soccer. An entire nation's hopes were on his young shoulders, and he was expected to single-handedly elevate the sport in the United States. He showed flashes of his undeniable skill, quick feet and a creative spark during a few decent seasons in Major League Soccer, where he scored a respectable 19 goals in 133 appearances. The real test came when he moved to Europe, joining Portuguese giants Benfica. This was meant to be the launchpad for his global career, but it became a crossroads instead. He failed to lock down a starting spot, and a series of unsuccessful loan spells began. In his one season at Benfica, he made just 11 league appearances and scored 2 goals. The Wonderkid bounced around the globe, from Monaco in France, where he made only 9 appearances without scoring, to Aris in Greece, and then to Saykur Rizespor in Turkey. He became a journeyman, his name a fixture in transfer rumours for clubs in various leagues, never finding a stable home. The skill was there in flashes, but the consistency and tactical discipline required at the highest level were not. The hype that once defined him became a crushing burden. He had to battle not just opposing defenders, but the ghosts of impossibly high expectations. Adu's career remains a cautionary tale of how the brightest stars can burn out the fastest when they're lit too soon. Ravel Morrison. Ravel Morrison, a player Sir Alex Ferguson once called one of the most naturally gifted he had ever seen at Manchester United, was a creative genius in the youth teams. A midfielder with a dazzling array of skills, incredible close control, and a natural eye for a pass, he seemed destined for the top. But his immense talent was overshadowed by a troubled attitude and a series of off-field issues. While his peers like Paul Pogba were thriving, Morrison struggled to stay on the straight and narrow. He never made a significant breakthrough at United, instead being sold to West Ham in 2012. He showed occasional glimpses of his ability, like his sensational solo goal against Tottenham, but he struggled to stay focused and motivated. His career became a nomadic journey, taking him to clubs in Mexico, Sweden, and the Netherlands. Each move was a desperate attempt to find a home where he could finally live up to his potential. But the same problems seemed to follow him. He made only 18 Premier League appearances in his career, scoring 3 goals, a minuscule return for a player once considered a generational talent. He would show flashes of his brilliance, only to be followed by long stretches of inconsistency and disciplinary problems. He was a player who could perform a breathtaking piece of skill one moment and then disappear from the game the next. Morrison's career is a sobering reminder that a player's biggest battle can often be with themselves. Jese Rodriguez. Jese Rodriguez, a Real Madrid Youth Academy star, was a forward who looked destined to take over from the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. A versatile and dynamic attacker, he possessed a potent mix of pace, skill, and goal-scoring ability. The club's fans had high hopes for him, seeing him as the future of their attack. He was on the verge of becoming a permanent fixture in the first team, playing a key role in their 2014 Champions League winning campaign. But a serious knee injury in 2014 was a turning point. It happened at the height of his powers, and he was never the same again. The injury was not just a physical setback, but a mental one, as he struggled to regain his confidence and form after a long and difficult rehabilitation. After his recovery, he struggled to recapture the explosiveness that had made him so dangerous. He was sold to Paris Saint-Germain for a big fee, but he was a shadow of the player he once was, failing to make an impact at the French club. He managed just 12 appearances and 1 goal for PSG before being sent on a series of loans. His story is a devastating reminder of how one bad tackle can change a player's entire career. The physical trauma of the injury, combined with the psychological scars, derailed a career that was on a seemingly unstoppable upward trajectory. Jese's journey shows that even the most promising talents are vulnerable to the unforgiving nature of the sport. Adnan Januzaj. Adnan Januzaj burst onto the scene at Manchester United under David Moyes, delivering a stunning 2-goal performance against Sunderland that had fans buzzing. He was a skillful winger with a bright future, possessing a brilliant first touch and a deceptive dribbling ability. The club gave him the number 11 shirt, once worn by the legendary Ryan Giggs, a clear sign of their faith in him as the next big thing. However, his career took an unexpected turn when Louis van Gaal took over as manager. Januzaj fell out of favour, and the manager's more structured, possession-based approach did not suit his free-flowing style. He was sent on loan to Borussia Dortmund and later back to Sunderland, where he struggled to replicate his early form. At Dortmund, he made just 6 league appearances and scored no goals. His career became a case of missed opportunities and changing circumstances. He eventually found a new home at Real Sociedad, where he had some successful seasons and showed glimpses of his old brilliance, but he never became the global star many thought he would be. He was a player who, in a different system and with a different manager, might have thrived. Januzaj's career is a powerful reminder that the right environment and managerial support are often as crucial to a player's success as their talent. Gai Assulin. Gai Assulin, another product of Barcelona's famous La Masia Academy, was hailed as the next Messi for his dribbling and technical ability. A skillful attacking midfielder, he earned comparisons to the Argentine star for his ability to weave past defenders with ease and his creative spark. But while Messi went on to become the best player in the world, Assulin's career took a different, more difficult path. He struggled with injuries and a lack of first-team opportunities at Barcelona, unable to break into a star-studded senior squad. He made just one senior appearance for Barcelona before moving to Manchester City, where he again failed to break through, finding himself lost in the club's growing list of high-profile signings. Assulin's career saw him play for over a dozen clubs in various leagues. A far cry from the single-club dominance of the superstar he was compared to. He became a journeyman, moving from club to club in search of consistent playing time and a chance to prove his worth. The weight of being labelled the next Messi was a burden he could never shake. It created an expectation that was impossible to meet and overshadowed any individual successes he might have had. Assulin's career is a poignant tale of a player with immense talent who was unable to find his place in the football world and whose journey was forever defined by a comparison that was both a blessing and a curse. Federico Macheda. Federico Macheda is the definition of a flash in the pan. As a 17-year-old, he scored a sensational last-minute winner for Manchester United against Aston Villa, a goal that helped them win the league title. The goal was a moment of pure magic, a curling shot that flew into the top corner and sparked wild celebrations. It was a fairy tale moment, and it felt like the beginning of something special, the arrival of a new star, but it was also the high point of his career. He struggled to follow up on that performance, and a series of loan moves to clubs like Sampdoria, Queen's Park Rangers, and Stuttgart followed. In total, he made just 19 league appearances for Manchester United, scoring 4 goals before he was eventually released. He was a player who, in that single moment, captured the imagination of the football world, but he was never able to maintain the form or consistency required to make it at the highest level. The pressure of living up to that one incredible moment was immense, and he was never able to escape its shadow. He was eventually released by Manchester United, and his career took him to clubs in Greece and later back in Italy. Macheda's journey serves as a powerful reminder that success in football is not about one moment, but about the relentless consistency required to build a lasting legacy. Marko Marin. Marko Marin at Werder Bremen and Borussia Mönchengladbach was an electrifying winger, a player so good he earned the nickname the German Messi. He was fast, technical, and had a brilliant dribbling ability that could unlock any defence. This earned him a move to Chelsea in 2012, a significant step up to one of the biggest clubs in the world. But the Premier League proved to be a step too far. He never made an impact at Stamford Bridge, making just 6 league appearances and scoring 1 goal before he was immediately sent on a series of loans to clubs like Sevilla, Fiorentina, and Anderlecht. The physicality and pace of English football were a constant challenge for the slight-framed winger, and he struggled to adapt to the demands of the league. He was a talented player, but his lack of physicality and inability to adapt meant he never made it at the highest level. The German Messi was a player who thrived in a less physical league, but he couldn't replicate that success when faced with the rigours of the Premier League and other top European leagues. His career became a nomadic journey, moving from club to club in search of a place where he could recapture his early form. Marin's journey is a powerful reminder that talent alone is not enough to succeed at the highest level. A player must also be able to adapt to different leagues, styles of play, and physical demands. Hatem Ben Arfa. Hatem Ben Arfa's career is a tale of incredible talent and self-destruction. A French international from a young age, he had the dribbling skills to rival anyone in the world. He was a joy to watch on the pitch, a player capable of creating something from nothing with a flash of skill or a brilliant solo run. His natural ability was undeniable, but his career was a constant battle with managers and a perceived poor attitude. He had standout seasons at Newcastle and Nice, where he showed flashes of his immense ability, scoring breathtaking goals and inspiring his teams. At Newcastle, for example, he had a strong 2011 to 2012 season with 6 goals and 7 assists in 30 league games, but he was never able to maintain his form and consistency. He often clashed with coaches, struggled with fitness, and was unable to find a home where he felt truly understood. He would go from being a key player to being out of the team, a talent that never found the right situation to flourish. His career was a frustrating cycle of brilliant moments, followed by long periods of inactivity. The football world watched on, constantly hoping he would finally put it all together, but it never happened. He bounced between clubs, a free spirit who couldn't be contained within the rigid structures of professional football. Ben Arfa's journey is a testament to the fact that talent is just one part of the equation for success. Professionalism, discipline, and a willingness to work with coaches are equally, if not more, important. Kerlon. Kerlon was a Brazilian striker known for a very specific and unique skill, the seal dribble. He would run with the ball balanced on his head, a move that delighted fans and infuriated defenders. It made him a viral sensation before the term even existed, and the clips of his audacious trickery spread across the internet like wildfire. But the trick was a double-edged sword. It drew a lot of fouls and injuries, as frustrated defenders were forced to tackle him aggressively to get the ball. He was never able to fully develop a complete game, with his career becoming a circus of one-trick pony highlights rather than a sustained professional career. He earned a move to Inter Milan, but his career was plagued by a series of devastating knee injuries. He never played a single game for Inter, and was loaned out repeatedly. For his first European loan at Chievo, he managed just 4 appearances and no goals before being sidelined by injury again. The constant injuries, a direct result of his unique dribbling style, meant he was never able to gain fitness or consistency. He became a forgotten prodigy, a player whose unique talent was never able to translate into a successful career at the top level. After his football career was cut short by a staggering number of knee injuries, reportedly 6 surgeries in total, Kerlon's life took a different turn. He was involved in a car crash in Brazil that left him shaken. While the crash itself was not career-ending, it served as a wake-up call. After retiring, he focused on a different passion: music. He reportedly began pursuing a career as a musician, showing a resilience to find a new path after his body could no longer handle the demands of professional football. Roque Santa Cruz. Roque Santa Cruz had a long and respectable career, but he is a classic example of a player who never quite reached his full potential. A talented Paraguayan striker, he joined Bayern Munich in 1999, where he won multiple titles and showed flashes of brilliance. He was a strong, clinical striker with a great aerial presence, but he was often overshadowed by other players in the squad, and injuries limited his playing time. He was a good player on a great team, but he never became the global star many thought he would be when he was a teenager at Bayern. His career took an unexpected turn with a big money move to Manchester City, where he was expected to be the star striker. However, he failed to live up to his transfer fee, and his time at the club was marked by injuries and a lack of consistent form. In his first full Premier League season with City, he made 20 league appearances and scored just 3 goals. While he had a respectable career, playing for Blackburn, Malaga, and several clubs in Mexico, it was one of a journeyman. Moving from club to club, rather than the global star many thought he would be. He was a player of immense talent who was never able to fully capitalise on it. Roque Santa Cruz's journey is a powerful lesson that even a long and successful career can be overshadowed by the ghost of what could have been.